Have you ever thought about poverty in America? Did you know that there's 1 in 6 Americans that live in poverty? It's a daily struggle to secure necessities just to survive. The comforts and opportunities that they see all around them are out of their grasp. Worst of all, it leaves their young hopeless. There's 40% of Americans will live in poverty at least a year before they turn the age of 18. Today, I want to tell you about poverty thresholds, poverty levels, and about the number of children living in poverty. I'll also tell you about the myths of poverty. Why are there so many Americans living in poverty? The, the book Poverty, A New Perspective states that we don't know enough about poverty and the relative ignorance impedes the practical solutions to poverty problems. In the article confronting our beliefs about poverty, in this one it states that many school practitioners think of poverty as a kind of a culture characterized by dysfunctional behaviors that can only be corrected by imposing harsh punishments um, on students. Further beliefs about poverty are often used to justify racial disparities in disciplinary referrals, achievements, and enrollment in gifted AP and honor courses, as well as justify harsh punishments and disobedience, disorderly conduct, or disrespect. Fergus suggests that educators learn to understand their blind spots related to the race and culture. No one chooses to live in poverty, they kind of inherit it. As you can see here, um, around 66% of children living in poverty live in a household where at least one parent works. What are poverty thresholds and guidelines? The poverty thresholds are the original version of the federal poverty measure, which was developed by Molly Warshawski of the Social Security Administration in the 1960s. Poverty threshold is a specified dollar amount considered to be a minimum level of resources necessary to meet the basic needs of a family. Right here are in the poverty guidelines for 2019. The amount for a single person is $12,490. For a typical family of four, it's $25,000, and a family of six is $34,590. Minimum wage jobs at 30 hours a week only comes to $11,310 a year, which is well below the poverty level threshold. Okay, let's talk about poverty myths. It's stated on the fourthworldmovement.org that we are surrounded by poverty myths, misconceptions about poverty and people living in poverty. One of the most common poverty myths is poor people don't want to work, yet 60% of adults living in poverty work if they are able to. Another myth is drug use is higher in poor communities, but the truth is that the people in poverty do not use drugs at a higher rate than the rest of society. Sorry. There are other myths like poverty doesn't concern me, I'll never be poor, when 40% of Americans will experience at least a year of poverty in their lifetimes. One more myth is that the U.S. doesn't have much poverty. But the truth is, the U.S. regularly ranks near the bottom of the rankings developed countries for both adult and child poverty. Today I talked about poverty thresholds, poverty guidelines. I talked about how poverty has become a big issue in the U.S. and common myths of poverty. I just wanted everyone to understand poverty a little bit better and not pass judgment on those that live in poverty. Most importantly, I wanted to say it's not their fault.